As technology develops by leaps and bounds, we often can see various strategies and techniques to achieve success through surfing the internet. The importance of self-improvement is planted on everyone's mind. There are books that provide us with the techniques and skills to assist us in building relationships, forming good habits, breaking bad habits, and achieving financial freedom. These books are beneficial to us and can provide some improvement. However, many people only read these books as entertainment and fail to apply those principles to their daily life. Besides, no significant results are produced in the long run. We may also need to read more books when we are in different stages of life. You may wonder whether there is a book suitable for people from all walks of life and can really bring an effective improvement to life. I know that there is a book which discusses the problem from the fundamentals and brings tremendous changes to the reader inside out. Now, the million-dollar question is, what does success mean to you? Does it mean earning tons of money, having a blissful family, or having a healthy body? Before we start the book, let's have a look about the author, Stephen R.Covey. Stephen R. Covey was an American businessman, educator, author, and keynote speaker. He was the author of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, First Things First, and The 8th Habit. He was named one of Time magazine's 25 most influential Americans. He was a professor at the John M. Huntsman School of Business at Utah State University, USU, at the time of his death. Let me introduce The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey. Part 1: Paradigms and Principles. Inside Out. For people around you, you may notice some people who are successful in their career. They build up their own business or hold a high position in a big company. However, if you ask them, they may say that they are not happy. Maybe they don't have time to accompany their wife and children, or their bodies are not in a good condition. They need to sacrifice their health, family, and relationship with people around them to achieve success in their career. Are they leading a successful lifestyle? Actually, people from all walks of life will encounter various kinds of worries and troubles. To further illustrate this point, parents will worry about their rebellious child who won't listen to them. Performance in work or academics is unsatisfying even though you have put in lots of effort. Obese people cannot slim down even though they do work out every day. Every man is occupied with different problems. All of us want to improve our situation and lead a better life. However, before that, we have to change ourselves, our perceptions. There is no real excellence in all this world which can be separated from right living. By reading and studying through hundreds of books, articles, and essays about self-improvement, he realized that World War I was a time that most of the success literature shifted and transformed from character ethnic to personality ethnic. Character ethnic is the foundation of success. We have to learn and integrate all the principles and characteristics, like integrity, humility, fidelity, temperance, and lots more, into our basic character. This is a way to achieve true success, but it only offers a significant result or rewards in the long run. However, nowadays, people are pursuing high efficiency. Success literature are mainly occupied by personality ethnic. It often takes two paths. One is human and public relations techniques, and the other is positive mental attitude. Lots of effective techniques are mentioned to solve your problems temporarily, but it may resurface in future. After reading it, you may be motivated and inspired to make changes. We should raise awareness to spot the vital difference between personality ethnic and character ethnic of success. Search your own heart with all diligence, for out of it flow the issues of life. The author doesn't assume that personality ethnic won't bring any benefits and advantages to us. On the other hand, sometimes, these elements are also indispensable for success and achieving our goal. However, in his opinion, these are secondary, not primary traits. For example, imagine in your school time, your examinations are around the corner, you start to burn midnight oil and cram on your revision. Maybe, you can get satisfying results. However, you do not master the knowledge in the syllabus. This same goes with the personality ethic. It can be useful for short-term relationships and success, but the challenges of life will reveal your underlying motive and character. There is no shortcut, you really have to pay the price for long-term success. As the saying goes, you will reap what you sow. Into the hands of every individual is given a marvelous power for good or evil, the silent, unconscious, unseen influence of his life. The 7 Habits in the title of this book embodies many of the fundamental principles of human effectiveness which are primary and basic. However, before this, we have to know what is paradigm and paradigm shifts. Basically, paradigm is the way we see, interpret, and understand the world. This is a map that will determine your attitude and behavior. You might want to work on your attitude and behavior, but your effort is in vain because you are still using the same map as before. The accuracy of the map is the priority. Actually, there are 2 categories of maps: maps of the ways things are, or realities, maps of the way things should be, or values. We seldom question their accuracy as they have been rooted in our minds since childhood, and most of us are not even aware of their presence. Are you still confused about it? Never mind, let us have an intellectual and emotional experience. Take a few seconds to look at the picture shown. Do you see a young lady? What is she wearing? How old would you say she is? Here is the second picture. You will probably see the same lady in the previous picture. However, if I tell you that the lady in the picture is an old lady with a huge nose, can you figure it out? If not, try to look at this picture and compare it with the second picture. Now, I am sure that you can see the old lady. Young lady with petite nose or old lady with hooked nose, either of them is the correct answer. However, most of the time, we will interpret the fact only in our perspectives and think that we are objective. Now, I will show some pictures. You can stop the video and take a careful look at them. I hope that you can discuss and comment on what you see in these pictures. Be open to other people's perceptions, getting a larger picture and a far more objective view. If you have understood the paradigm, we can continue the sharing. Now, we know that it is difficult for us to be at other people's point of views. It is known as paradigm shift. The author calls it an aha experience. It's just like a light suddenly turned on inside, the feeling that you suddenly can notice the old lady in the previous picture. Have you heard about some stories about the behavior and attitude of a person that totally changes after an accident or a big event in one's life? The way he interprets the world is different, the way he sees is different, the way he behaves is different, his attitudes are also different. We can work on attitude and behavior for a minor change in our life. However, for a significant and quantum change, we are required to start from the basics. For every 1,000 hacking at the leaves of evil, there is one striking at the root. Of course, not all paradigm shifts are instantaneous, it can be a slow and deliberate process. It is not until you change the basic paradigm, until we see things differently, that we are able to create quantum change. Being is seeing in the human dimension. We will be what we see. Change of being should be associated with change of seeing, and vice versa. Holding the correct maps is more effective and efficient than changing your attitude and behavior. We have to make sure that our maps are aligned with natural laws or principles. Principles are not practice, there are deep, fundamental truths that have universal application, no matter for individuals, marriage, families, and organization. Principles are the laws which include fairness, honesty and integrity, human dignity, service and quality, that cannot be broken. It is impossible for us to break the law. We can only break ourselves against the law. The benefits of personality ethnic can be attractive. However, in the author's perspective, he assumes it as a shortcut to achieve quality of life, personal effectiveness, wealth and healthy relationships. Using this wrong map, we may skip lots of essential steps for long-term success, even without realization. In video games, we have to complete the first level before we proceed to the next level. If you are a beginner in piano, it is impossible to ask you to perform in a concert. Personality ethnic is just like you have to fight the boss when you just start the game or sending a beginner to perform on a stage. People will find out that it is deceptive. Everything have to be done step by step. Personality ethnic may have some positive feedback in a short run, but it is not an effective long-term strategy. A 1,000-mile journey begins with the first step. If you are not satisfied with the life of individuals, families and organizations, you will definitely admire the people who accomplish certain achievements in these aspects. Normally, the first question you will ask is how to be like you, or what are the techniques? The way you see the problem is the problem. Personality ethnic teaches us that there are always some strategies or seminars that can help us to handle all the problems in an efficient way. If you want to improve the relationship with others, you learn to smile and avoid complaints and criticism. Are these strategies really can help you? Are they the main factors? Are you just forcing yourself to do these? If you really want to have lasting success, inside out should be the new level of thinking and dealing with the problem. Inside out means to start with yourself, your paradigm, your character and your motives. It is a continuing process of renewal based on the natural laws that govern human growth and progress, which says that private victories precede public victories. We need to improve ourselves first before we can improve relationships with others. Does it make sense if we do it in another way, which is the outside-in approach? Author indicates that many of the principles embodied in the 7 habits are already deep within us, in our conscience and common senses. We need to think differently and shift our paradigms to a new deeper, inside-out level. The significant problems we face cannot be solved at the same level of thinking we were at when we created them. The 7 habits and overview. Habits that are deeply embedded have tremendous gravity pull if we want to escape from them. We may need extra effort to lift off, but once we break out of it, our freedom takes on a whole new dimension. The main idea brought out by the author is we are what we repeatedly do. Excellent, then, is not an act, but a habit. Sow a thought, reap an action, sow an action, reap a habit, sow a habit, reap a character, sow a character, reap a destiny. The gravity pull can work with or against us. It is a double-edged sword. However, if we use it effectively, it helps to establish effectiveness in our lives. Habits are the intersections of knowledge, skill, and desire. Knowledge tells us what to do and the reason, skill tells us how to do, while desire indicates the want to do and provides motivation. You may want to break procrastination. However, you always complain that there is too much work and time given is insufficient. Until you search out correct principles of time management, you may not even know you need to be more disciplined. We also require the way to do it as well as the motivation to start and maintain it. It is habit forming. The 7 habits provides a highly integrated approach to the development of personal and interpersonal effectiveness, moving us progressively from dependence to independence to interdependence. All of nature is interdependent, the same goes with human life. Dependent people need others to get what they want, Independent people can achieve goals with their own efforts. Interdependent people can combine their efforts with other people's effort to accomplish greater success. First 3 habits can lead to private victories. To achieve public victories, habits 4, 5, and 6 are required. Last but not least, habit 7 is the habit of renewal. The author believes that success should be a habit. We should be successful in every aspect, which includes individual, families, friends, career, health, and also entertainment. Then we can gain the true happiness in our life. That is the importance of habit 7. The author introduces P/PC balance. P stands for the production of desired results, while PC stands for production capability, the ability or asset to produce results. Effectiveness lies in the balance. There are 3 kinds of assets: physical, financial, and human. Physical assets represent a car, computer, even our body or environment. Financial assets represent our capability to earn. Human assets refer to the relationship. For example, if parents' paradigm is focused on production, they may force their children to study in the room throughout the day without sufficient rest and entertainment. The relationship between them will deteriorate day by day. However, if their paradigm is focused on production capability, children won't listen to their parents and the result cannot be ameliorated. If these 2 can reach a balance point, a healthy relationship can be maintained and children can have a better performance in academics. Excessive focus on P results in ruined health, worn-out machines, depleted bank accounts, and broken relationships. Too much focus on PC is like a person who runs 3 or 4 hours a day, bragging about the extra 10 years of life it creates, unaware he's spending them running. To get most out of this book, you should let it be a companion in the continuous process of change and growth. You should also shift your paradigm from learner to teacher and share your thoughts and opinions with others. You may have a deeper understanding of these and change their perceptions about you. Be patient with yourself. Self-growth is tender, it's holy ground. There's no greater investment. That which we obtain too easily, we esteem too lightly. It is dearness only which gives everything its veil. Heaven knows how to put a proper price on its goods. Part 2, Private Victory. Habit 1, be proactive. Do you know what self-awareness is? One experiment about it had been carried out before. A mirror was placed in front of different species of animals like cat, dog, tiger, monkey, and lots more. The aim of this experiment is to find out whether they can recognize the figure inside the mirror were themselves. Most of them fail to do so. They may even try to fight with the image inside the mirror. Now, try to project your consciousness upward into a corner of the room and see yourself, in your mind's eyes, watching YouTube with your phone. Can you see yourself just like someone else? Self-awareness is the significant element that differentiates humans from animals. It enables us to stand apart and examine the way we see ourselves, our self-paradigm, the fundamental paradigm of effectiveness. However, most of us forget to see things through our own eyes, but tend to follow the social mirror, social paradigm, which tells us we are largely determined by conditioning and conditions. There are 3 social maps: genetic determinism, something you inherited from your family; psychic determinism, your childhood and upbringing cause it; environmental determinism, the people and situation around you cause it. If you really understand the word responsibility, you will find out it is combined with response and ability, the ability to choose your response. Proactive people can recognize that responsibility, their behavior, is the product of their own conscious choice, based on values, but reactive people's behavior is the product of their circumstance and conditions, based on feelings. To further illustrate the point, only reactive people will say that, "Why don't I have a rich dad? Why is my boss so inconsiderate and unreasonable? Why do teachers give so many assignments?" They always try to find problems from other people and their surroundings. We have to take the initiative to act. However, many people just wait for something to happen or somebody to take care of them with a blaming and accusing attitude. We need to face adversities, dissatisfaction, and challenges in life, but we also have to face the reality that we have the power to choose a positive response to those circumstances. Instead of groaning that you are not born in a wealthy family, you should put in effort to improve yourself and ameliorate your situation with your hands. Reactive language and feeling of victimization won't bring any changes, but hinder you from improvement. In our daily life, we have a wide range of concerns, like family, wealth, career, relationship, and health. It is called the circle of concern. For the things we can have direct control over, it is called the circle of influence. Reactive people will concentrate on the former part, while proactive people will focus on the latter part. They will try their best to enlarge and magnify the circle of influence. Before we shift our life focus to the circle of influence, we have to be aware that consequences and mistakes are out of the circle of concern. We cannot decide the consequences. Mistakes are not the end. We should acknowledge, correct it, and learn from it. Success is on the far side of failure. It is not what happens to us, but our response to what happens to us that hurts us. Habit 2. Begin with the end in mind. Nowadays, many people, especially teenagers, will waste their precious time on video games, phones, social media, YouTube, and Netflix. In my opinion, this phenomenon will only occur if you don't have a specific goal or target in your life. As we don't know what kind of person we want to be, what achievements to be achieved, what things to be done, time is wasted on meaningless stuff. Do you ever think about the goal for this year, or even for your entire life? Before this, let's imagine you are going to the funeral of a loved one. However, when you look inside the casket, you suddenly come face to face with yourself. Now, you realize that this is your funeral. There are speakers from your family, colleagues, and friends to express the feelings of appreciation and love for your life. What do you think they will say about you and your life? What character would you like them to have seen in you? What contributions and achievements do you want them to remember? Now, you can stop the video and give yourself a few minutes to think about this question thoroughly. You can jot them down on a piece of paper. It will increase your personal understanding of habit 2. Now, you probably have a picture, image, or paradigm of the end of your life in your mind. It can be a reference to set up your goals and targets. Maybe, you want to travel to every corner on the earth or be a philanthropist who assists people who need help. It is important and significant to know what you are now and what you are going to be. It will make sure that you are always making correct steps to approach your success. It is wasted if we put in lots of effort and end up with a wrong direction. Many people will assume that earning lots of money represents that you are a successful person. Perhaps fame, achievement, money, or some of the other things we strive for are not even part of the right direction. Begin with the end in mind is based on the principle that all things are created twice. There's a mental or first creation and a physical or second creation to all things. We act within and enlarge the border of our circle of influence. For example, people will plan schedules for the following day or week. This is the first step, which is done mentally. By doing this, we will clearly understand what should be completed during that certain period of time. This will be the second creation. Everything can be done in an organized and effective way. The same goes with planning our life. We set up the target first and move towards our goal progressively in the right direction, or else we may be regretted at the very last moment of our life. However, without choice, some people have to live up to the scripts handed by family or the pressure of circumstance. Their first creations are not by their conscious design. Without freedom, they have to be the way expected by other people. This indicates the importance to take charge of our own first creation and script. Let's have some review. Habit 1 says, you're the creator. Habit 2 is the first creation. It is based on personal leadership, which means leadership is first creation. Leadership is different from management, which is second creation. Leadership is about what to do, while management is about how to do the thing in the best way. Management determines efficiency, leadership determines direction. Management is doing things right, leadership is doing the right thing. Well, management without leadership is the same as straightening deck chairs on the Titanic. Leadership is hard because we are often caught in a management paradigm, thinking of control, efficiency and control, instead of direction, purpose and feeling. This phenomenon occurs in relationships, families and companies. In developing our own self-awareness, we may discover ineffective scripts or deeply embedded habits that are not parallel with the values held in our life. Habit 2 indicates that we are responsible to write a new one that is more congruent with our principle. We have to play different roles, such as spouse, friend, student, teacher, parent, or child in our life. We have to figure out the character we actually want. You want to be a strict parent, caring parent, cheerful friend, disciplined, responsible, or independent individual. Determine what to do and stick to our principle. A personal mission statement based on certain principles becomes the standard for an individual. It focuses on character, what you want to be, contribution, what you want to do, and achievement, the values and principles upon which being and doing are based. To write this statement, we must begin from the center of the circle of influence, which will be the source of security, your sense of worth, guidance, source of direction, wisdom, perspective of life, and power, capability to act. These elements will determine the center of our life. Now, let's have a look at some common centers people typically have. Family-centeredness. People gain their sense of security from the family reputation. They are vulnerable to change that may influence that reputation. Money-centeredness. People focus on making money. However, they may have some noble reasons, such as providing a better life for their family. Self-centeredness is the most common center nowadays. The most obvious form is selfish. There are other examples like marriage-centeredness, friend or enemy-centeredness, work-centeredness, church-centeredness, pleasure-centeredness, and possession-centeredness. Our point of view will be different when different centers are applied. A person's center can be some combination of the centers aforementioned. However, it is not effective. To further illustrate this point, if you are work, money and friend-centered, you will neglect your health, family, and sacrifice your entertainment. We should be principle-centered. When we encounter a problem, we can stand apart from emotions and any other factors that may act on us. We can evaluate each option based on the needs of family, pleasure, work, and friends. Taking all factors into consideration, we can probably come up with the most effective solution that we are comfortable with. The personal mission statement is not something that can be done overnight. It may require weeks or even months for you to analyze carefully, express and write it thoroughly on a paper, until you are satisfied and happy with it. Even then, you will want to take it out and examine it regularly. You may also make some minor changes as years bring additional insights and circumstances changes. Share the principles of Habit 2 with family and work groups. Ask them to make a group mission statement if possible. Jot down your goal and steps that will lead all of you to the target. Try to involve as many of them as possible, because no involvement, no commitment. Begin with the end in mind. Habit 3, put first things first. Habit 3, as we have mentioned before, is the second creation, is the physical creation, the management. Habit 3 is the personal fruit, the practical fulfillment of habits 1 and 2. With the first two habits, you are in the right direction to achieve your personal success. Management determines the quality and efficiency. The essence of habit 3, which is a common character and principle held by successful people, is putting first things first. For everyone on this planet, we only have 24 hours per day. However, we have to use limited time to complete unlimited stuff. Basically, we can use urgent and important to define an activity. Therefore, there are 4 categories: urgent and important, urgent but unimportant, not urgent but important, not urgent and not important. Now, before we continue, can you try to arrange them in the order of priority? I believe that all of you can mark urgent and important as 1, not urgent and unimportant as 4. However, the challenging and tricky part is to determine which one is 2 or 3. I think that you still need some time to consider it. Let us discuss what is urgent and important. Urgent things act on us. For example, our phone rings, we receive email and message, or a last-minute deadline. Important things have to do with results. For example, relationship building, self-improvement, learning and personal mission statement. Now, back to our question, not urgent but important should take 2 while urgent but unimportant should take 3. Some of you may be confused about why we should not deal with the urgent things first. Let me explain it one by one. Some people will spend 90% of their time in quadrant I and the rest of their time in quadrant 4, which is the only relief for them to escape from the high-tension reality. Some people may spend all their time in quadrant 3 and assume that they are in quadrant I. They didn't realize that they have wasted lots of time on unimportant stuff. Actually, quadrant 2 is the heart of effective personal management and is the point to keep P and PC in balance. We should distribute most of our time on quadrant 2. We should complete it before it becomes urgent. In my opinion, quadrant I should be reserved for unforeseen and emergency events. To prevent the situation where we are trapped in quadrant 3, we should learn to say no. You can reply to email or messages after you have finished all the important stuff. Imagine that you are in an important meeting. Out of the blue, you receive a call from your friend. Undoubtedly, you won't pick up the phone during a meeting. It can be urgent at that moment, but it is not important. Normally, we fail to say no to quadrant 3 and 4 because you don't have a bigger yes burning inside, which means that you haven't started habit 2. As we only have limited time, it is impossible for us to complete everything in 4 quadrants. We should prioritize quadrant 1 and 2. Things which matter most must never be at the mercy of things which matter least. There are 4 generations of time management. The first generation will create a to-do list and tick whenever they complete a task. It may provide them some sense of satisfaction and gratification. However, most of the time, they just go with the flow and seem like they are irresponsible for the results. The second generation will be better in planning their schedule and are more responsible for their performance. There are also many people trapped in the third generation. These kinds of people have set their goal and clarified their value. They can plan their schedule daily and prioritize the activity. However, they may end up to overschedule the day as they are focused on quadrant I and 3. Due to the heavy workload in the waiting list, they may feel stressed and escape to quadrant 4. The 3 generations of time management are not effective. To develop the 4th generation of time management, we have to focus on quadrant 2. First, we have to identify our roles and respective goals. In our daily life, we have to play roles as son, parent, employee, student, and lots more. Set a target that should be achieved. Even if you haven't written your personal mission statement, you also have some concept and small target for each role. We are recommended to plan our schedule on a weekly basis. Some targets like having a family day cannot be accomplished during weekdays. Therefore, weekly basis can cover most of the uncertainty. We can spend most of our time on important things, especially those in quadrant 2, instead of urgent things. As we have a schedule throughout the week, we are more unlikely to be trapped in quadrant I and 3. We can review our schedule every day and make some minor changes if necessary due to the circumstances. One of the most common problems encountered by people nowadays is they always feel that they don't have sufficient time. Even though we have arranged our schedule effectively, it is still impossible to complete everything by ourselves. Therefore, we may need to delegate to other people to assist us. However, there is another problem. Many people refuse to do it as they think that it will take too much time and effort to assign the task and they can complete the job better themselves. Actually, we can assign some trivial tasks to other skilled and trained people. It can save lots of time and energy, which can enable you to distribute them to other high-leverage activities. There are basically two kinds of delegation: gopher delegation and stewardship delegation. To further illustrate the point, you pay for an interior design company to transform your house. However, you have to stay there for the whole process to monitor and supervise them. It is a gopher delegation. It doesn't save your time. For stewardship delegation, you tell them what is your desired results and you focus on it instead of the methods. You can also provide some guidelines about what not to do and point out the potential failure path. The main point is you have to assign the tasks to them with trust, which is more time-saving. Pareto principle: 80% of the results flow out of 20% of the activities. Part 3: Public Victory. Paradigm of Interdependence. If you have already cultivated the first 3 habits aforementioned and achieved private victory, you can start from public victory. Independence is an achievement, but interdependence is a choice made by independent people. Independence precedes interdependence. I believe that all of us have a bank account. It is where we deposit our hard-earned money and get interest. Then, do you know about emotional bank accounts? It is a metaphor to describe the trust built up in a relationship and the feeling of safeness you have with the other party. For instance, we make deposits through courtesy, honesty, and kindness, while we withdraw trust from the account if we are disrespectful, impolite, or dishonest. Our wealth in the account needs time to grow, to earn interest. Therefore, a quick fix is only a mirage. The most important and profitable deposit is to listen without making a judgment. There are 6 major deposits. 1. Understand the individual, be interested in other people and really understand them. Try to know what things are important and meaningful for them. 2. Attending to the little things. Sometimes, some discourtesies and little forms of unfairness may cause large withdrawal. We should be careful, even though it may be a trivial thing for us. 3. Keeping commitments. Undoubtedly, it will have a large impact on a relationship if we break a promise. If we fail to keep a promise, due to some unpredictable reason, you should explain the situation thoroughly to the person involved and ask to be released from the promise. It helps to build trust in your words, and it is an investment with high profit. 4. Clarifying expectations. Unclear expectations will contribute to misunderstanding, disappointment, and withdrawal of trust. We have to make a clear expectation at the beginning to prevent that situation. 5. Showing personal integrity. The fundamental is to treat everyone with the same set of principles and let other people have faith and trust with you. If you betray other people due to benefits, your friends and current partners may also think that you will also do this to them. 6. The laws of love and the laws of life. The key is to make constant deposits of unconditional love. We help other people to feel safe and secure. Every problem encountered by other people can be a golden opportunity for us to make large deposits in emotional bank account. There can be no friendship without confidence, and no confidence without integrity. Habit 4, think win-win. When we step from independence into interdependence, especially as a leadership role, we are in the position which can influence other people. The habit of effective interpersonal leadership is to think win-win. Win-win is not a technique that can provide immediate reward. It is a total philosophy of human interaction. There are 6 paradigms of interaction. All of us belong to one of them, or their combination depends on the situation. The first 5 of them are win-win, win-lose, lose-win, lose-lose, and win. Undoubtedly, win-win is an ideal solution and agreement that is beneficial for both parties. However, most of the time, it is quite difficult and challenging to reach such an ideal situation. It is a cooperation instead of competition. Ironically, the education system since our childhood has cultivated the paradigm of win-lose. We have to work hard to get an A in the examination, or else we will be the one who fails it. This is how the normal distribution curve works. In sports, a similar system works. When there is a winner, there is a loser. It is unlikely to have 2 winners in a competition. Due to it, when dealing with people, how to win comes before how to win together in our minds. Sometimes, we may go the other way, which is lose-win. Some people are afraid to express their feelings, they lack confidence and are insecure. They seek strength from popularity and acceptance. This kind of people will agree with something that is unbeneficial for them, which leads to lose-win. This situation is worse than win-lose. When 2 stubborn, determined and ego-invested individuals encounter, the result will be lose-lose. For instance, war, murder, fight, argument will bring disadvantages to both parties. An individual with a win mentality will only think about his own benefits. He does not bother about the outcome of the opposite party. Among these 5 paradigms, which one is the best option? Some of you must think the answer should be win-win. My answer is the 6th option, win-win or not deal. Any of the 5 options aforementioned is not appropriate for every situation, it depends. If anyone has to suppress their feelings or endure loss in a relationship, it is not a good solution. There should be a way that both parties can reach a satisfying agreement without external forces. We have to put in effort to find it, or else we should cancel the deal. At least, we do not destroy and damage the relationship, we can wait for a better opportunity. Win-win involves mutual learning, mutual influence, and mutual benefits. However, the concept of win-lose is deeply embedded in the mind of most of the people we meet in society. They may even feel unbalanced in mind if they realize their friends, peers and families have better accomplishments than theirs. Win-win characters cultivate win-win relationships, which develop win-win agreement, which support the win-win system and process. In my opinion, the win-win system plays the most important role. In a company, the manager will only give an extra bonus and prize to the top 10%, other people can only give applause to them. It may motivate some of the employees, but this method is not effective. If the manager can set a challenging but reasonable target for each of them respectively according to their previous performance and expectations, undeniably, everyone will be more motivated and determined to get a better result in the following rule. It is a win-win for the company and employees. The Goldilocks rule can be a reference for us to set our goal. I read about this principle in that Atomic Habits by James Clear. This is how we can increase production and production capability together instead of breaking their balance. We have committed the golden rule to memory, let us now commit it to life. Habit 5, seek first to understand, then to be understood. Communication is indispensable when we are dealing with people from all walks of life. However, most people don't know how to communicate and interact with people in an effective way. From my experience, when I am sharing a heart-burning issue with friends, some of them will just start talking about their own experience and story. Is that what I'm really interested in at that moment? This same goes with the doctor prescribing medicine for you without understanding your situation and what you're talking about. Do you dare to take them? The importance of listening to other people has been emphasized in many books about building relationships. However, nowadays, most people listen to reply instead of listen to understand. These are totally two different stories. How can you expect yourself to appreciate other people if you do not understand them? We should learn how to build skills of empathic listening based on the character of trust and openness. The essence of empathic listening is not to agree with them, but deeply, fully understand them emotionally and intellectually. Not only our ears, we have to use our eyes and heart while listening. There is a common problem encountered by most teenagers. They prefer to share their problems with peers and friends instead of parents. The fundamental contribution to this issue is most parents will judge their children before they fully understand the situation. As children, they want to be understood instead of being judged. Parents want to instill their thoughts and experience in their children's mind directly. On the other hand, friends are more willing to lend them their ears. This phenomenon may cause some social issues. In this scenario, parents are similar to the salesmen that only want to sell their products. We should learn how to diagnose and understand in order to sell solutions to needs and problems. Normally, during a conversation, we will evaluate, ask questions and give advice based on our experiences and expectations. There are 4 stages of empathic listening. 1. Mimic content, this is the least effective method. 2. Rephrase the content. You understand the conversation and repeat it in your own words. 3. Bring your right brain into operation. You reflect feelings. 4. You rephrase the content and reflect the feeling. We need skills to assist us, but it won't help if we cannot carry them out with sincere desire to understand. This is the significant step to reach win-win. We understand what the other party wants. However, this is insufficient. We also need to be understood. Seeking to understand requires consideration, seeking to be understood requires courage. There are 3 sequences: ethos, pathos, and logos. Ethos is personal credibility, it is about trust. Pathos is emotional alignment, it is about feeling. Logos is logic, it is about the reasoning part. It should be a long-term investment in our emotional bank account. Therefore, we can really reach a win-win result in the relationship. It not only helps to solve problems, it also nips most of them in the bud. Empathic, from empathy, listening gets inside another person's frame of reference. Habit 6, synergize. Before we can proceed to public victory, we need to achieve private victory. This same goes with interdependent preceded independent. The highest form of synergy focuses on the win/win motive and the skill of empathic communication on the toughest challenges we face in life. The first 5 habits prepare us for the 6th habit, the habit of synergy. Nowadays, cooperation and collaboration are emphasized in almost every field, no matter in school, workplace, or athletics. We are required to work with peers, friends, and colleagues as a group. Besides, undeniably, teamwork and team spirits are significant and important in basketball and football teams. We are expected to achieve greater accomplishment as a team than as individuals. The importance of teamwork is instilled in our minds since childhood. Then what is synergy? Simply defined, the whole should be greater than the sum of each part. 1 plus 1 should be greater than 2. It is just like the mutualism relationship between clownfish and anemones, they are gaining benefits from each other. To put it another way, if 1 plus 1 is smaller than 2, there is no point for us to put them together. Fight is inevitable if two male lions appear to be in the same area, which will only lead to win-lose or lose-lose situation. To communicate synergistically, we have to open our mind, heart and expression to new possibilities, alternatives and options. However, it also requires a combination of considerable courage and genuine love to take the initiative. Therefore, most of us are trained and scripted into defensive and protective communication, believing other people cannot be trusted. As a result, ineffective people experience synergy only in a small, peripheral way in their lives. The more authentic you become, the more genuine in your expression, the more people can relate to your expression, the safer they feel to express themselves. It will form a positive feedback loop. Trust is the interest and return of the deposits in the emotional bank account. This investment plays an important role for us to access synergistic communication. Inevitably, disagreements will occur when two parties have different perspectives. We should have the awareness that disagreement happens because there must be something to your opinion that I don't understand, I should understand it. However, most people will put themselves on the defensive side and stick to their ground. As we mentioned before, such communication will only lead to win-lose or lose-lose. 1 plus 1 may be smaller than 1, there isn't PPC balance. There is also a lower form of win-win, which is compromise. Both parties will give and take, they are respectful, honest and genuine, but it isn't creative or synergistic. They do not look for the best solution, they have to give up certain things or rights to maintain the relationship. In this scenario, 1 plus 1 equals 1.5. Instead of transaction, we should do transformation. Both parties can get what they want without losing what they currently have. This process will upgrade their relationship. Synergy means it can be 4, 16, or even 100. Trust is built and the PPC balance is there. Every man is built differently. We have to value the difference in perspectives, opinions, emotions, and psychology. All people see the world, not as it is, but as they are, according to their paradigms. The blue color in my eyes can be different from yours even though we are talking about the same things. This same goes with the young lady and old lady when we mention the paradigm and paradigm shift. We should always give credence to the possibilities that we are both right. Synergy means that the relationship which the parts have to each other is a part in and of itself. Part 4, Renewal. Habit 7, Sharpen your saw. After you have understood all the previous 6 habits, you should have a clear picture about what is success and the way to achieve independence and interdependence in your mindset. As we have mentioned before, in the author's opinion, we are not considered leading a successful life if we can only take care of one certain aspect, like career, family, wealth, or entertainment. On the other hand, we have to be successful in all of them. Imagine you are sawing down a tree. Is it more efficient if you take a break to sharpen your saw or you keep going with a worn-out saw? Therefore, renewal is essential for us. We need to sharpen our saw to make things more effective and efficient. It lies in quadrant 2, it is not urgent, but important. It surrounds the other habits on the 7 habits paradigm because it is the habit that makes other habits possible. Habit 7 is personal PC, it is renewing the four dimensions of our nature: physical, spiritual, mental, and social emotional. For the physical dimension, we have to be proactive. We need to have a balanced, healthy diet and exercise on a regular basis. If not, we may find ourselves in quadrant 1, dealing with health problems and crises. Good exercise can build our body in 3 areas: endurance, like jogging; flexibility, like stretching and yoga; strength, like push-up and sit-up. For the spiritual dimension, we have to review and recommit to our core, our commitment and our center frequently. We can visualize the events of the day with these values. For the mental dimension, we have to manage ourselves effectively to maximize the use of any resources, such as time, in accomplishing any mission. Continuing learning, reading good literature and writing are powerful ways to sharpen our mental saw. These 3 dimensions are associated with habit 1, 2, and 3 respectively. For social emotional dimension, it centers on the principles of interpersonal leadership, empathetic communication, and creative cooperation. Peace of mind comes when your life is in harmony with true principles and values and in no other way. Write a good script for your life and stick to it, or else you have to live with the script prepared by other people. Figure out your own way to lead successful life. Treat a man as he is and he will remain as he is. Treat a man as he can and should be, and he will become as he can and should be. Inside out again. There are only 2 lasting bequests we can give our children. One is roots, the other wings. Roots is to identify our ancestors, where we from and who we are. Wings represent freedom. We should not be trapped with negative scripts passed down to us. Does the last generation have the right to script the life of their next generation? Or is it wrong if we don't follow them? However, even in this modern era, the phenomenon is quite common. That which we persist in doing becomes easier, not that the nature of the task has changed, but our ability to do has increased. By cultivating the 7 habits, centering our lives on the correct principles and reaching the PPC balance point, we can be more effective and efficient. We can cope with more things when our ability increases. We can also form the 8th habit, reading this book again and again on a regular basis. We can obtain new inspiration in different stages of our lives. We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. To the degree to which we align ourselves with correct principles, divine endowments will be released within our nature in enabling us to fulfill the measure of our creation. Success is not about one times good one, it should be a cycle, which enables us to succeed in every different field. The closer we come to their mastery, the more aware we become of how far we really have yet to go. It's like the more you know you don't know. We must not cease from exploration. And the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we began and to know the place for the first time. Feel free to share your thoughts. Remember to subscribe, like and share.